Definitely a lot of track on this thing now. Yeah, we're gonna have to take a pretty wide berth around everything, but track work finally complete. This has been the most amount of work I put into any part of this tractor, doing that right there. So all right, let's address this next.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We have another walk around for you. This is an old 5JD2, serial number 5J1113, which would make it a late 1938, first model year that they produced them. And this one's been sitting here for a while. Pony motor's not on it, but we do have that. Unfortunately, it has froze and cracked. You can see the cylinder head is heaved up there, and we've also got a crack down here behind the injection pump. But it's got a lot of very good parts on it yet. Very good radiator with good lettering intact. Front grille is nice and clean, no dents. It's got the 12-inch wide track pads on it. Sprockets are fair. Rail height is worn down to about 100% wear, but it's got the original rock guards down on the bottoms of the tracks yet. Fenders look very good, and the seat tank is not dented or caved in, even has some of the old stenciling on it. There's the dash. So anyway, we're going to start getting this uncovered, see what it's going to take to get it moved. Okay, so we've uncovered it a bit. The rest of the seat tank looks good on the bottom. Steering clutch levers are a ways back, but they do both move and have some spring to them, which is encouraging. I'm really hoping the clutches aren't stuck. Brake pedals really don't show any wear, and they both do move. We got main clutches stuck. They've just had this little board over where the cover used to go, and it's very rusty in there. So main clutch is stuck, engaged, and we're in 4th gear. That might be an issue. If I can't get this freed up, I might have to go in and see if I can free up that, or disconnect the interlock, roll that interlock out of the way so I can at least get it out of gear. From the pony motor being off and the old tarp deteriorated, the pinion clutch housing is full of water, and that's pretty well seized. Okay, I've got those 2 bolts out of there, and you can see with the linkage in the position that it's in, we're pretty well locked in gear. So if I take this with it loose now, rotate it back, yep, there we go. We're in neutral. One little success at a time. That help us at all?
Yeah, go the other way. Maple. That's hard maple. Okay, right there. What do you think?
Let's take a look.
All right, believe it or not, everybody, that was the final piece of the base tractor rebuild. That coolant temp gauge was it. So this is our hybrid newer style mixed with older style large face gauge, custom gauge face once again, had fabricated for us by a channel viewer, and it's been tested in a hot pan of water with a thermometer. It's within 5 degrees of actual temp. Got all the retaining clips, routing the capillary tube just fine. Sensing bulb is up in the thermostat housing, and this right here is the vision that I had for this tractor when I first decided I was going to rebuild it. And that's right, it was originally just going to be a parts unit, but thanks to the YouTube channel, there was enough interest in it. We turned it into a rebuild project, and boy, what a project it has been. Let's get a little better look at it though. And honestly, I had visions of taking this thing for a nice drive today. It doesn't look bad from here, but it's been freezing raining all morning. There's parts out here you can't even walk on. So I'd love to get this thing out and do a good beat with those wide tracks on, see how it handles, see how it drives, see how it steers. Trouble is, if I tried that slope down to that shed, I'm pretty sure I'd be testing out that front bumper. And I'm not worried about the bumper. I'm worried about the shed, but better view of it now. That is a mean stance. Again, love all the work we put into that belly pan, tow hook, front bumper, two-piece side panel, side irons, wide tracks. Yep. That's what I've been seeing this whole time. So unfortunately, that is as close as we are going to get to a drive today. Last thing I want to address. This is the last, I promise. So comment section's been going crazy about this way too shiny exhaust pipe I've been running on this. That's just been a temporary pipe all along because it comes on and off so easily. I'll show you the permanent pipe. It is right here, and it has all of the perfect weathering and accents, complete with, I think, a couple of pistol rounds have hit it at one point in time. But this is a much tighter fit. So once I tap that on there, it's really tough to get it back off. But that is the pipe that's going to live on the tractor. And we've got this super hard to find Cat Original heavy duty clamp for the bottom. So finishing touches right there. Aside from that, base tractor rebuild is complete. So I've shared this on the member side, and I'll let you all know right here, I'm going to roll the cab install into a series of its own because, well, it's going to be a massive undertaking. We've got under fender bracing that we have to replicate and fabricate, get installed. We've got to do that special seat tank, which is going to involve taking a damaged one, cutting the back off, reskinning it because it's all caved in, and then cutting the armrest portions off, getting rid of the seat back attachment points. The cab has its own bench style seat that I'm going to have to get some custom measurements to Zane and look at getting a brand new all custom bottom cushion, seat back, and side armrest pieces made for it. We will have possibly lights. We've got the generator and the generator bracket, all the associated wiring, figure out an externally mounted regulator. Then it leads to a battery and a battery box. That cab is going to be, I bet, a month better worth of work all by itself, probably more. So I'm going to just start a separate playlist for that, because this was mainly about the rebuild of this D2. We've pretty much reached the end of the line as far as that goes. Now, getting around to what we've decided to call it. Let's go find Senior, see if we can't get a story out of him yet today. Okay, everybody, out in the other shop, we got Senior out here. Looks like you're elbow deep into some snowmobile work, huh?
Yeah, trying to get a 440 Rotax going here.
I guess that's going to be the home for it, right?
Yeah, right there. Needs a little cleanup. You see the squirrel's been in it.
So you're ready for some story time today?
Well, ready as I'm ever going to be. I'm
So-
not much of telling stories. But
Oh, yeah. So you look back here on the wall, all of the antlers that have been accumulated over the years. Most of those are all Seniors. So safe to say you've spent a bit of time outdoors.
a few years.
And growing up, there was 8 siblings. 6 of them were boys, including you, right?
Yep.
So you had some adventures outside and in the woods and everything else.
A lot of adventures, yeah.
Let's go up to the other shop, sit by the D2. We'll get into the story.
Okay.
All right. Slippery out today, isn't it?
Awful slippery. Sure glad you left this thing in here instead of sliding into the buildings out there.
Yeah, I told them about it already. All right.
Kind of got some skis on the
Yeah.
sideways here.
Well, the trouble is, as soon as we go out the back door, I got to start turning that thing right away, and I get sideways on that slope. It's straight into ice skating mode then.
Yeah.
So I even had him compile some notes so that he can
Remember.
This was a while ago, a lot of details, but yeah, you guys spent a lot of time outside hunting, fishing, trapping, stuff like that
We
when
didn't
you were
have
kids.
all this internet stuff or cell phones or anything.
YouTube. I'm still kind of sore that they never had GoPros, because I'd
Yeah.
pretty much be set if we could have just had about 5 years worth of
We couldn't
footage.
hardly afford a camera, much less afford to get the film developed with one.
So, but it was a lot of time just, keeping busy outside, and you all had, there's plenty of hunting stories from back in the day.
Oh yeah, started hunting when I was 11 years old. That was in 1962, so it kind of gives you guys an idea of how old I am. So, and get around back then, we had an old truck we'd modified.
Basically rat rodding before rat rodding was
Yeah,
a
I
thing,
guess you
right?
could say that, but
Trendsetter.
yeah. Anyway, we had that. I know we already had it by the time I was 11 into my teens. I'm not real sure whatever happened to it. Still to this day, I cannot find a picture of it.
Yeah, I don't think a picture was ever taken of it.
Yeah, so
Which is-
back in the day, cameras weren't a priority when you were a kid. So
But yeah, when you all were out hunting, like everything, every place had a name, so you all knew kind of exactly like what location you were talking about. Like,
oh yeah, and basically our first trip with this old truck was to get to our hunting spot, which was about 1.5 miles out in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Basically an old overgrown township road you couldn't drive on other than you had something like that old truck to do it.
and you said it was an old Chevy. It was based
Old
off of
Chevy.
Chevy, right?
An old Chevy, straight stick in it, 4-speed transmission, 2-speed rear axle, vacuum 2-speed. It only worked in one because the way we used to drive that around in the woods and stuff, it's kind of ripped the lines off and stuff. It didn't need a 2-speed in there anyway. So anyway, yeah, some of our names.
But
we
didn't
had-
didn't you say like the box was taken off of it or something?
Yeah,
And
it was
had, like
bare
some,
frame, and then seats were built on, just
like some
kind of
bench style seats. kind
bench
of.
style seats, just like the Army vehicles, but
And
all homemade.
it had like tractor tires on the back end, and
Tractor tires, we looked, I'm pretty sure they were like a 24, 26-inch tractor tire. Just rims mounted, welded up to the truck rims so they could bolt to the rear axle.
but heck of a buggy anyhow. What did it have like much for like a cab or a windshield or roof or?
Oh yeah, it had the cab doors and everything.
Okay.
You know, the window cranks didn't work real good. Stuff like that, but
Yeah, all your different locations, you had names for everything.
oh yeah, we had some of our stand names. We had what we called the buck stand. We had Gobbler's Knob. That kind of got its name because it was pretty high and right out in the wind.
Mm-hmm. So it's pretty cold up there, like
Really cold. We had
Like
Five
the
Pines. We had the Beaver Dam stand.
I remember the Five Pines even when I was a kid because they were I mean, they were taller than everything else and almost right in a perfect line.
Yep.
You could see them from, I bet, half a mile away.
Yeah,
Easy.
yeah. Easy to find in the dark.
Yeah.
Then we had Bear Shit Field. That was an old overgrown log field.
I remember Bear Field, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of stuff laying out there.
a lot of traces of bear, we'll put it that way.
So that's just some of the names we had. Everything had a name.
I mean, what was that? How many acres was that total that you guys used to run when you were kids?
Well, most of the stuff around here was county lands, all public lands.
Well, it was better than a whole section of land, wasn't it?
Oh, we hunted sections of land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, thousands of acres.
Yep.
And nobody else was out there either.
35 years we hunted at one location. I seen 6 guys. 35 years out there.
And at one point, so your stand wasn't that out by the Five Pines that you had to walk in like an hour
No,
plus?
that was on 4 section corners.
Okay, but it was like more than an hour's walk.
About an hour and 20 minutes walk.
So you'd start walking like 5 a.m.
Yeah, to
Right.
get there before daylight.
Before daylight.
And right now, after all the logging's going on, you can drive right up to it.
Yeah, there's a road, probably 100 yards from it?
Yeah, about 100 yards.
Yeah, you can drive right in there. Full of people now.
Oh yeah.
Land's been sectioned off. There's little cabins all over. And
Last time, just on the mile drive in, I counted 3,500s now.
wow. But yeah, as I was rebuilding this, I bet it was about a year ago. Just you're out here in the shop, you kind of get in your own little world, thinking about things, daydreaming. And I start remembering that old truck that you were talking about. You all used to run in the woods with.
Yeah,
And,
had a few problems here and there with it. Not too much, but
like that time you broke the steering way back in.
yeah, we were way back. I'd say we were probably, we drove that mile and a half in, then we just took off through the woods. We were just doing an adventure one day. Run over a little bit of a tree that did some steering problems. So what we had was one of them old time drills.
It's like it broke a drag link or snapped a drag link or
what's something to do with steering arm. That's so long ago I can't remember. So anyway, this is our cordless drill.
That
we
was
had
the
out
cordless
there.
drill back in the day.
Yep, it's single speed, variable speed, but a little bit of package of drill bits, some bolts. We got the job done. We got her out of the woods again.
You all had to walk back home, get that, walk back in.
Well, it set overnight. We had to go back the next day.
It was a multi-day adventure, but
Yeah.
I think you said you traded off taking turns under that thing, just cranking that handle, just trying to get a drill bit through enough to get a bolt, and then you had to do another one. And
Had the mice build a nest in the clutch one time, so we had to tear that apart and get that cleaned out.
I suppose it probably held the pressure plate released.
Oh yeah. It didn't have much traction, just slipped. So.
But I was out here just thinking about those stories that I heard growing up, and I still wish there'd have been a picture of that somewhere.
Yeah.
Because anyway, and that was about the time I decided, this tractor's going to get these super wide, basically these swamp pads put on it, and then it's like the light bulb just bang, it just went off. It's like I already got an Iron Masters 5U7066. I got a couple names for the RD6s and everything else, but I've got an Iron Mistress D2. This one, well, I decided I'm going to adopt that name you had from that old truck for this one.
Okay, it's
You all called it what?
call it the Swamp Angel.
The Swamp Angel.
Yeah. I mean, basically you could take that out through the woods as long as it fit through the trees. Had the big old front steel original bumper on it. One thing you had to make sure you go out, you come back in a different direction because all the trees are bent over one way. Never did dent that bumper. If nothing else, all we did is polish it up a little more.
I suppose if you came back and went against the grain from all the brush and everything, you pushed over it, then it was going to be poking straight into the front. You couldn't have that.
No, we'd be hitting the radiator and stuff. And
but as long as there was a big enough gap between the trees, if it fits, it ships, right?
Yep, so that's right. A lot of fun with it back then.
But I decided, being that I'm going to outfit this tractor like this, and face it, it's got kind of a dumpy complexion. So it's a little bit swampy.
Yeah.
And then you put the swamp pads on in addition to that. But I mean, beneath the surface, it's a sweetheart. This thing's it's a brand new D2 that I just made sure didn't look like it had ever been worked on. So to me, like, we're going to do like a round 2 of the Swamp Angel. So that's what this one's going to be right here. Now we got the Iron Mistress and I've got the Swamp Angel, keep her company. So
one other thing too, we had a guy and his kid hunt with us for, probably 2 or 3 years. And he could make a sound like a train whistle. Unbelievable. we'd go by a bunch of guys and stuff. He'd make it like a train coming. They'd sit there and look, start laughing. We had a good time with him. I mean, you couldn't tell the difference between him and a train whistle.
And you always could hear when Terry whistled because it was always yoo-hoo,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we used to whistle on drives. Yeah, my one brother, his whistle was a yoo-hoo. Yeah, a lot of fun back then.
Yeah, it's certainly changed now. I mean, you wouldn't have times like that now with just the way everything's so divided up and full of people.
Well, right now, from sections of hunting, we're down to about 100 acres.
Yeah.
We got access to.
Yeah. We're over here and over there.
Yep.
Pretty much is it. So, well, that's the story behind the name. We've got the Swamp Angel now, and that's kind of a second go around on it. Still wish we had some pictures of that old that original Chevy though.
Some might show up. If we do, we'll get them posted.
We might have to start quizzing some family members and seeing if anybody has anything. But
Yeah.
probably in some instances it's best that there wasn't pictures from some of those adventures back in the day because they could be a mite bit incriminating now.
There's some things you never wanted your folks to know.
So, I'm glad I never did anything like that.
Yeah.
Luckily this one freed up, so if we ever get time to work on the engine, I'm pretty sure that we could have a steerable unit anyway, if we ever got it running. Anyway, that's how we freed the steering clutch on this D2. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope to see you next time. There you have it, everybody. It's no longer just 5J1113. From now on, it is the Swamp Angel. Can't think of a better name either. Just the general unkempt appearance of it, yet at the same time, so many positive attributes. And we can give that name a second go around, kind of a nod to senior in the process. I like it. So, all right, this is actually going to conclude the rebuild portion of 5J1113. Like I said before, I'm rolling the cab into a series of its own, and work will not commence on that until we are through with winter because there's so much heavy fab work that I just really need to be doing outside. I'm not going to cut a fuel tank apart in here and risk the fire and explosion, and I like to fill them with water anyway, and it's such a mess. I need to wait till everything's not frozen outside. So it's going to be a few months yet before we start into the cab fitting portion, and I still have that intermittent pop noise on this that, again, I need to wait until conditions outside improve to the point I can go out and really run it, work it, get it up to temp, and not be spinning tracks to further diagnose that. It might be an injector swap out deal yet, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But aside from that, we've done it. 220-ish episodes divided amongst 3 different playlists. I divided them like recovery, diesel engine rebuild, starting system rebuild, chassis rebuild, so that people that come along after the fact might be able to zero in a little bit closer on the episode in particular they might be looking for. So it's kind of why we did it like that. And big thanks to everyone that's been along for the whole journey. It's been a long one, but I'm satisfied I've covered everything I needed to cover to do a complete rebuild on a J Series D2. Some U Series details we could touch upon yet, but we might do that if we get the opportunity. I don't know. We'll see. But all right, everybody. Next episode is going to be, well, I'm going to attempt a cost tally of everything that went into getting us to where we are right here. I think that one's going to be an eye-opener. I'm kind of looking forward to it, but I kind of don't want to know at the same time. So I'm going to start throwing all those numbers together, and when I have something compiled, hope to see you back for that. Thanks again, everybody.